Let us discuss on capital budgeting, and the model that we will discuss today is certainty equivalent approach, or what we call the certainty equivalent model. So under this model, what you are required to do is we normally take what we call the risky cash flows. Then we convert these risk cash flows into riskless cash flows. So for you to get the riskless cash flows, always you take these risky cash flows, then you multiply by the certainty factor known as the certainty equivalent coefficient. Once you do that, you are going to get the riskless cash flows. Then from there, when you want to make a decision in a given project or in a given company, using the certainty equivalent, we normally compute for the net present value. And how do you arrive at the net present value? It is given by the present value of cash inflow, then you subtract the present value of cash outflow. So how do you get the present value of cash inflow? In this case, you will be taking the risky cash flows, then you multiply by the certainty equivalent coefficient. So it is risky cash flow. Then you multiply by the certainty equivalent coefficient for you to arrive at riskless cash flows. Once you have the riskless cash flows, you discount using what we call the risk-free cash flows. Risk-free cash flows. Unlike the normal NPV, whereby for us to get the present value of cash inflow, we normally discount using the cost of capital or the required rate of return. In this case, we discount using the risk-free rate as what? As the discounting factor. Therefore, from there, you will arrive at the present value of cash inflow. Then from there, in case the certainty equivalent coefficient is not given, we normally compute it. So for us to get the CEC in the first year, year 1, is normally given by you take the certain amount, then you divide by the expected amount. You divide by the expected amount for you to arrive at the certainty equivalent coefficient for the first year. If you are to compute the certainty equivalent coefficient for the second year, it will always be given by the certainty equivalent coefficient for the first year, then you square. For you to get the certainty equivalent for year 3, CEC, it will normally be given by the CEC for the first year, year 1, then raised to power 3. For you to get for year n, the CEC in this case will be given by the CEC in year 1, then raised to power n. So that's how you will be arriving at the certainty equivalent coefficient in case they are not provided. So therefore, this method is not difficult. It is easier to understand. What just you need to remember when you are doing or when you are looking at some of the illustration or questions under this approach is that you must always remember that when you are discounting your riskless cash flows we normally discount using the risk-free rate. Unlike the other normal NPV, where we discount using the cost of capital or the required rate of return. So therefore, I hope the concept is easily understood, and therefore I would like us to look at an illustration. And the illustration will come from August 2024, question number 1B. So August 2024, question number 1B. August 2024, question number 1B. Let us discuss on that question. And this is what you are told by the examiner, that a company is considering two mutually exclusive projects, namely Project A and Project B. The company uses the certainty equivalent approach to evaluate a capital project. The estimated cash flows and certainty equivalent for each project are as follows. Project A, and also you are given the Project B. So you are given the cash flows and the certainty equivalents. Then you are told that the risk-free rate is 5%. So required, advise the company on which project to undertake using the certainty equivalent method. So in this case, previously when we were discussing at the capital budgeting projects, we said that this capital budgeting project, we have 7 of them. One of them is mutually exclusive project. And when we talk about the mutually exclusive project, we normally say that they are substitute project or they are alternate project. Meaning, if you decide to undertake one project, automatically you are going to reject the other project. Then we look at independent project. We have dependent project, divisible, indivisible. Then we have the acquisition project, and also we have a replacement project. So the examiner in this area, he has decided to test on the mutually exclusive project, meaning they are substitute or alternate project. So let us see. We have the two projects. So we have Project A. Let us compute the NPV for Project A. So we are going to have the year. Then from the year, we need to get the riskless cash flows, where we will be taking the risky cash flows. Then we multiply by the certainty equivalent coefficient for us to arrive at the riskless cash flows. So in this case, we are provided year 1, 2, 3, and year 4. So what are we provided? We are provided with, for the risk cash flow for year 1, it is 22,500. For year 2, it is again 22,500. For year 3, we have 15,000. And year 4, we have 15,000. Then from there, we multiply by the CEC. And our case for year 1, 0.85, 0.80, then we have 0.75, 0.60. Then from there, we are going to get what we call the riskless cash flows, the one that we are going to discount in this case. So therefore, let us compute very fast. The first case is 22,500. You multiply by 0.85, and the output is 19,125. Then the second one, the output will be 18,000. The third one, the output will be 11,250. The fourth one, the output will be 9,000. So what we have already computed is what we call the riskless cash flows. Then we are going to discount present value interest factor. We use, in this case, the risk-free. And the examiner had provided us a risk-free of 5%. A risk-free of 5%. That is what we were provided. So let us get the present value interest factor. In this case, we just normally take 1 plus risk-free, then you raise to negative n, because we need to get the present value. So therefore, in that case, it is going to be 1.05, you raise to negative 1. The first period is 1. So therefore, the output will be 0.954. Then the second one, year 2, you just take the answer that you have, you divide by 1.05, and the second will be 0.9079. Then you press equals to arrive at the third one, which is 0.8638. And finally, you press equals, which is 0.8227. Once you have that, now we can get the present value. So the present value, remember the examiner had given us our shillings in thousands. So you will be taking the riskless cash flows, then you multiply by the present value interest factor. So the first one will be 19,125. You multiply by 0.9524. You will get 18,214.65. Then the second one will be 18,000. You multiply by 0.9070, which will give us 16,326.00. Then the third one is 11,250. Then you multiply by 0.8638, and the output will be 97,17.75. Then the fourth one will be 0.8227. Then you multiply by 9,000. You will get 74,04.30. Then we sum up, we accumulate for us to get the total present value of cash inflow. So it will be, once you sum up, so you will get the final output of 51,662.70. Then we had invested, present value of cash outflow, we had invested 45,000. So in this case, in our case, we are going to get the NPV of how much? You take the inflow, present value of cash inflow, you raise the present value of cash outflow. So in this case, you will get 6,662.7. So that is the net present value for the project A. Then let us go and compute for project B. So for the case of project B, again we are going to have the year. Then we take the risky cash flows, then we multiply by the certainty equivalent coefficient for us to arrive at the riskless cash flows. So this is how we are going to compute this. So again, we are going to start from year 1, 2, 3, and also we have period 4. Let us look at those expected cash flows so that we can convert them to riskless cash flows. For the first year, it was 37,500 and it had a CEC of 0.80. The second one was 30,000 and the CEC was 0.70. The third one was 22,500 and this was 0.60, and the final one is 15,000 and this one was 0.50. So the final output will be, let us get the riskless cash flows. It will be 37,500. You multiply by 0.8, you will get 30,000. The next one will be 30,000. You multiply by 0.7, 21,000. The third one is 22,500. You multiply by 0.6, 13,500. And the final one will be 7,500. Then you are going to discount by the present value interest factor, 5%. Remember, we have said it will be 1 plus risk-free, then raised to negative n. And this risk-free, you just copy-paste since we had computed in the first project. So it is 0.9524. The next one is 0.9070. The third one is 0.8638, and the final one is 0.8227. So therefore, we get the present value, and our shillings are in thousands. So in this case, will be 30,000. You multiply by 0.9524, which will give us 28,572. The second one will be 0.9070 times 21,000, which will give us 19,047. The third one will give us, we will get 11,661.30. And finally, we will get 6170.25. Then let us sum up for us to get the present value of cash inflow, the total present value of cash inflow. So the final output is 65,450.55. Then we had invested the present value of cash inflow. We had invested 60,000. So therefore, our NPV will be 5450.55. So that is the NPV. We have computed the net present value for project A, and we have also computed the net present value for project B. What is remaining is for us to make a decision or to advise on which project should be undertaken. When we use the concept of NPV, we normally advise the company to undertake the projects with the highest NPV. And in this case, between the two, since the projects are mutually exclusive and they are or what we call the substitute project, the advice is that the company should undertake. So you can advise them and tell them that the company should undertake project A. Reason being, it has the highest NPV. The highest NPV of how much? Of shillings 6,662,700. So that is how you compute for the certainty equivalent coefficient. So also you can look at another question which was set in August 2022. Question number 1. It was August 2022. Question number 1. A. August 2022, question number 1A. That will be the assignment. Which we will be looking at it later on.